Class is in session once again. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Beer Sherpa. I am, as always, Danimal. Before we get started in today's lesson, if you are new to the channel, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Love doing this. Nice little side gig I got going on, just for the heck of it. Spread some love, spread some knowledge out there. Heck, even share it yourself and get the word out. If ever you guys have questions, let me know, or even suggestions. Today, we are delving into a very intriguing realm of dark beers. And to honor this, my Star Wars nerd has come out. So I'm going to be using lovely Vader glass here. So why don't you join me? Grab a mug of your favorite dark beer, and let's embark on this journey together. Today, we are going to be discussing the differences between porters and stouts. So, let's start with porters. Porters are a venerable classic that have been quenching thirsts for centuries. And I wanted to start with porters because technically porters have been around longer than stouts. Pouring a deep mahogany hue with some ruby undertones, porters greet the senses with a very, very complex combination of bouquets of roasted malt and chocolate, as well as caramel. If we take a moment here to kind of enjoy some of the aromas, I love a good porter. I'm a huge coffee drinker, and so the first aroma I get is going to be coffee right out the gate. Maybe some hints of nuttiness in it. On the palate itself, it should be very, very medium to light body. This is not a heavy beer. I hate using that term, but it's really not a heavy beer. Porters tend to be that mid-range body. It's kind of easy on the palate. And we should be getting some dark chocolate and some espresso, as well as like some toasted nuts on this. So we're going to give a try here. Nuttiness for sure. Real thin on the mouth. Really enjoyable though. I mean, bitterness of the espresso, the coffee, it's right back there. So you might be wondering to yourself, what is the difference between a porter and a stout? But before we dive into that, let's talk about just how exactly this particular style of beer is crafted. This liquid symphony is crafted in a very, very similar way to how stouts are crafted. Porters are typically brewed with a variety of malted barley, included some roasted and some chocolate malts, which impart those big roasty flavors that we were just kind of experiencing. Now, hops are always going to be added in, but extraordinarily sparingly, and generally they're only going to throw those in to provide a little bit of balance and allowing the malt itself to really kind of take over. Now, porters, as well as stouts, are ales, and so this beer is fermented with an ale yeast at moderate range temperatures. Porters tend to undergo a very, very short maturation process before being packaged and enjoyed by us. So now let's turn our attention to the sibling of the porter family, the stout. Pouring as dark as night with the creamy tan head, this particular style of beer exudes an air of mystery and intrigue. So stouts are one of those beers that truly is a journey. And I love dark styles of beer. I love porters. I love stouts. But when it comes to drinking a stout for me, it is just packed with chocolate. It's packed with coffee. And of course, you're going to have those breweries that throw in extra things, especially if it is some type of an imperial stout, which in fact this is. I'm not telling you where I got these beers from. They're not related to the brewery that I work at. I'm simply breaking down the styles themselves. But imperials are nothing more than beefed up versions with higher alcohol content. But when it comes to a regular stout, you're going to have the roasted barley. You're going to have chocolate. You're going to have hints of espresso that dance on your palate. while you get aromas of additional cocoa and espresso that are thrown in there. It's a beautiful beer. All right, so aromas of stouts are a little bit different than that of the aromas and the tastes of a porter. You're still going to get the roasted barley, you're still going to get dark chocolate and espresso, but it's almost like with porters you get more coffee than what you would with stout. Stout, I personally tend to get more chocolate than I do coffee. The just aromas of dark beers to me are just so soothing and comfortable and comforting, especially during the middle of the winter or during cooler weather. But stouts themselves are just fantastic warming beers. Mouthfeel is drastically different. You don't have that medium body anymore. You have a much thicker body. It's thicker, it's a little bit silkier in your mouth, and just almost like a dessert. Now, when it comes to both porters and stouts, there are all kinds of variants of both. Like, I literally went to the liquor store to buy several different kinds of porters and several different kinds of stouts, and I had a really, really hard time just finding a craft beer that was just a straightforward stout. With this one, there's extra stuff thrown in. The other one that I got, there's extra stuff thrown in. But there's so many different directions you can go with a beer like a porter or a stout. And this is where many breweries really, really have fun and enjoy adding in things, whether it is fruit, whether it is additional spices, whether it is bourbon barrel aging them. You're mostly going to get that with stouts, not so much with porters. But porters, you can still have a lot of fun adding things into the beer to make them a little bit more dynamic. All right, so how are stouts different in the brewing process compared to porters? Now, both styles utilize roasted malts for color as well as for flavor. Stouts often have different percentages of roasted barley, resulting in a much bolder profile within the beer itself. Additionally, stouts do tend to use things like flaked oat or lactose in order to give a better sense of mouthfeel as well as sweetness. Fermented ale yeast between porters and stouts tend to be about the same. You are still going to get that ale yeast. It's still going to be at very, very similar temperatures. But the difference here is that stouts undergo a longer maturation process to allow more robust flavors to kind of come to the forefront of this style of beer. Ah, the beauty of dark beer. Each sip is a journey. It truly, honestly is. And on this journey, you go into the depths of flavors and complexity, whether it is the nuanced elegance of a porter or the bold intensity of that of a stout. There's simply just truly something special about dark beer. Well, my fellow beer enthusiasts, another lesson has closed. That concludes this particular session about porters and stouts. I hope you guys found this exploration a little bit enlightening. I know it's brief, but it is a general sense of the differences between porters and stouts. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and leave a comment below with your favorite dark beer experience. I'd love to hear about that. Until next time, may your glasses be full and your adventures